Attention gamers. Previously on my hardcore journey, I took on the 2 hardest leveling achievements in the game by slaying an albino man bear pig who was pegging my internet GF and then bare naked kiting the deadliest scorpion in Azeroth with Rav Walk toggled on to prove that no hardcore element would be left unmastered. I teamed up with Ompi to avenge his previous character's death on my final kill before level 60 and vowed that the series wouldn't end until I defeated Ragnaros. Now to understand how this happened, I need to take you back to where we left off. I hit 60 and despite being showered with the server's praise I knew that the more important ding level 60 was yet to happen. Similar to me planning an epic last kill, Howard had a poetic plan for his too, to get his final level killing off the ghosts of his relatives haunting their pig family. He was adamant on doing the work himself and refused to let me mob tag for him. We spent days in those plague lands until he was just 1 kill away. His ding wasn't publicly advertised but I made sure to let him know I was proud, and then throw him a party with some of Stormwind's finest baddies that I could find. But it was at this time where everyone gathered for our pre-raid guild meeting because Papa Soda needed to make an important announcement.
I think I'm ready to show you guys the roster, show you all who is going to be in our first raid. It is subject to change. I worked on this last night with Ompi. Hunters. We only have 2 hunters in this raid. The 2 hunters that we do have in the raid are going to be Dizzy and Rav.
This meant I had work to do in the form of waking up and checking the mail, which was just full of surprises like my long-lost father trying to capitalize on my newfound fame by finally coming back from the store years later with the milk. But it also meant I had to do some honeydews in order to unlock the raid, which started with sex elf Robin Hood here who was like, "Dog, we got a dragon problem and you probably need to leech off of your guildies to kill some elites." To which I thanked them by taking the single fight that I beat them in DPS and posting it online to patronize their tiny little damage, but on the real Sardako is a homie, and when I saw that an Egyptian Godzilla breeder tramp stamped his ass a few days later I gave him the fattest 07 you've ever seen.
I'm dead.
But when I told Robin Hood that we beat level 1 of Bloons Tower Defense Burning Steps edition, he said we are gonna need backup from Stormwind, so I figured I would use my clout to get an appointment with the king himself, who was all like, whoa, talk to my wife about that shit, who by the way turned out to be a total bitch.
I was standing right next to you, imbecile.
She was all sus and then said only pussies would investigate further, which made me curious, so I spent an hour talking to just about every breathing creature in the Eastern Kingdoms until some drunk told me about some shit that went down in the mountain.
We were in the middle of Black Rock Mountain when the filthy animals attacked.
I grabbed some of the most feared comrades I could find and we went in. We found the dude that was captured, but he was all like, "Yeah, I give up, this game has sucked the soul out of me," and I was like, "Suit yourself," until days later I found a note that said the local McDonald's was bringing back the McRib, and all of a sudden the dude was highly motivated to get out of there. We escorted him as he unlocked all his friends, but he only seemed to talk to Fandy and thank her for the help, and I'm thinking, hey pervert, I have a pair of tits too, and just because no one is paying to see mine doesn't mean I'm not deep in this mountain's asshole saving you too. But long story short, we rescue him and he tells us to meet him in Stormwind in an hour for what will be some juicy ass drama. I decide while I'm here to get attuned to some core that's molten, which involved trying to save 15 minutes of time on tunes that we committed 9 days of played time to by trying to glitch our way through lava. And after failing miserably at some practice,
What you're gonna do is you're gonna jump right before the red bar reaches the green vertical bar.
I figured what's the worst that could happen. Anyways, it was now time for me to find out the drama that our prison break McRib lover was about to reveal. He said the queen has some Shrek turns into an ogre dragon at midnight shit going on, and I wasn't gonna be the one to piss on his parade. We venture into the keep, and even though I personally had my doubts, I love to stir the pot, so I made sure she caught a few strays from me, but to my surprise this conspiracy theory was true as shit and half of the guard staff was apparently undercover. I ran around trying to spread the word, but then I realized that if Rab the Avatar couldn't save Stormwind, no one could. My ego got in the way of listening to Howard, and even though I thought the Ravatar could help, there was one hardcore element I had yet to face. Death. I felt empty inside, as my first thought was what would happen to Howard. My second thought was how can I somehow make money off of this?
If I'm in Molten Core with you on Saturday, you have to buy my mouse pad. I'll buy 2 and 1 for Russell. It's where he can put his plates.
And then my third thought was that I just died 2 days before raid, and the odds of me making it back in time were slim.
We can power level you, go again. There's no time. You can't get power leveled back all the way up there. There's no way. It's not possible.
I just don't think that Rav's gonna hit 60 by the time we start a raid.
Just give up.
Unironically, the only way it's possible is either A, he takes hard drugs, or account shares. Because he has to play 24 hours a day.
And then that's also only getting level 60.
I'm kind of down to bet 500 that he won't do it by raid.
You also need to get attuned. It's not going to happen.
But deep down I knew this was all part of my destiny.
Just give up. It's over. It is what it is.
And hundreds of Fangsley members were going to help me prove them wrong, so when Soda said this,
And I need him to tell me what he's going to do.
I only had one answer for him. In just over a day, Fangsley got me back to level 50, but now my fate would be in the hands of a midget named P. Penis from Asmongold's Roach Guild, who informed me that there was no backup plan for me if things went wrong. After being awake for 2 days straight at this point, I wasn't trusting my own ability to avoid death, so I was absolutely not prepared for his goddamn Roblox obstacle course over elite mobs just to get to the next step in my journey. And before I could even process what just happened, little PP head here was already telling me that one of my guildies died in the next step, while giving me the most vague explanation of what he did wrong. But with it I had made it to the rock, where I would sit for 10 minutes at a time in hopes of getting XP orgasms from him grinding raid mobs. And with 12 hours till raid and 2 levels to go, I accepted a bribe from Papa Soda to join back into the Only Fangs guild. Gold that would be used for the final step of the journey. And in a 34-hour marathon we had done it, and been granted our raid spot back, but there were still doubters.
Listen, I still don't think he's gonna make it to raid, so what's the point of this shit?
I don't think he's gonna make it to raid.
He's gotta get tuned. I just don't see it happening.
Little did he know that I would be walking by his side an hour later to achieve my attunement to the Molten Core. And while I had successfully ascended as Rab the Avatar, Howard could not complete the journey with me as he was still loyal to my former dead self. I asked his brothers and they informed me that only his ghost existed in the world while he himself remained tethered to his dead owner, and rumor was his ghost could be found in the Plaguelands. My friends in Fangsley located his ghost and supported me as I tamed him to fight by my side for the remainder of my journey. It was now time to finish my attunements, but we weren't out of the clear yet.
Target them if you got it. Kill the guys in the back here. I feared them. I feared them.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Arcana Smiths have to die, guys. Hey, we taunt here.
We pull behind.
I shield walled here.
This is pretty.
This is pretty much, guys.
Yeah, this might be a Petri.
Guys, just can we AoE them down?
Yeah, I'm healing you still.
Kill the. I marked a skull. Kill that. Everyone's.
I already petried. I got scared.
Okay, guys, do we all have petries?
A few hours after hitting 60 I had to use a pussy potion just to survive the attunement, but no matter how little sleep or how deadly the tasks were ahead of me, I had a death to avenge and a destiny to fulfill. And with that, I had overcome the final hardcore element, death. And it was finally time for what we had all been waiting for.
Time is racing toward us till it is raid time. If you learned mechanics, we just might survive. You're not ready for the raid, Molten Core, so pack up, go home, you're through. How could I make a raid out of you?
The first boss was the bitch Onyxia, whose sneaky Stormwind Simps killed my first character, and even though my heart had a beat faster than an EDM concert, the instructions were clear. Step on a crack, break your mother's back, and then when Purple Charizard takes flight I bust a nut on all my cooldowns. After the most intense 17 seconds we were in the final phase, and to literally everyone's surprise we had no deaths yet.
Stop damage.
Okay, we got it.
Good. And that's it.
Good job.
Easy life, baby.
We did it. Let's go.
2 minute kill.
That was easy as shit. Easy as shit.
But when my own performance was subpar I had to channel my inner WoW player to find the cause. It was now time for us to venture into the molten core and for me to use the following footage for my comprehensive guide on how to one-shot this place. The first boss, everyone turns their monitors off and jams a one-button rotation. At one point Howard's ghost was looking like he needed some loving, so I spent my fight mending his wounds. The second was a large dog who would occasionally get swollen and us hunters would have to EpiPen him before he bit off a tank's head. Boss numero 3 was the first time I saw myself on the damage meters for a second before it disappeared and never came back. Gar was the first boss where people thought we'd have deaths, and it's because every time one of his little sperm cells pieces out, everyone around him is all like, but we made it through with no deaths. The next boss had a mechanic where one single person could kill everyone if they didn't get out of raid when they were marked.
Italian guy, living bomb, Italian guy, I'm calling it out. Italian guy, get out.
And all I'm saying is thank God no one was apparently listening to Soda, because his add-on broke and whispered every single person in raid that they were the target every time, even when they weren't. I then had my few moments in raid to shine.
Want to pull it, but I also don't yet. Yeah, we're
I think
gonna
you
pull.
can thread the needle.
Rav, you want to try and thread that needle? Pull that core hound. You fucked this up. Oh God. Actually,
bubble?
oh God. Okay, Adamax, you're bubbling. Adamax, you're bubbling. Yeah, this is me. I got it. You're fucking right. We are. Rav, pull it.
I believe in the Ravatar. Go Rav.
That's it, right there. Right in the middle.
Every time,
Okay.
baby.
Miz, you're tanking it. Miz, you're tanking it. Femboy hole, bubble. Femboy hole, bubble.
Before we spent 13 minutes talking about the next boss and then a total of 13 seconds killing him.
Holy shit, he's just melting. Fuck this. Just kill him.
If there's a mechanic on the next boss, it must have called in sick that day, because I wasn't even tabbed into the game for this one, but then the next lava lamp gone rogue raid boss had a job for me. I would have to get the attention of one of his lil slaves and bring them to a tank. The only problem was they got a glance of Fandy's tits, and for the life of me I couldn't distract it over. No one noticed.
Alright, just do damage.
We now had 2 bosses left and I felt like things were going a little too smooth, so I had a plan. Ampi and I spent the next 15 minutes devising an evil plan where I would feign death during the next boss and he would send out a raid warning saying that I had died. The whole thing was going to be dank as fuck until my feigned death decided to just not update my frames, so we only got a taste of the reaction we were going for.
We're on Moon now, the last one, and that is it.
Yo, threat!
Rav? Rav is dead. What?
What? Oh my God, you're so
finish the
dumb.
game.
What's a raid alert? I don't know what that is.
So dumb.
He's not, is he?
Unbelievable.
He fucking died!
Oh my God.
Back away from the chest. Back away from the chest.
And then there was Rag, the final boss and the goal from day one of our guild, and while the others were strategizing and getting ready to min-max their DPS, I had my own plan for this fight.
I fell in fire. We got someone low. We got someone real low. Group 5. Group 5. I'm coming back. Jay the Bark. I got you all.
That's fucking gold.
0 deaths.
And with that, months of hard work, sleepless nights, and gold spent by Fangsley and other viewers carrying idiot streamers like myself who barely lifted a finger, and we had done it. But in the midst of the celebrations, deep down I knew there was still one thing I had to do. And there was only one way I could do it. I'd transfer my character so that I could come back to life and call him one last time. But I knew what had to be done. He was being extra clingy after having not been fed, because while I was busy fulfilling my destiny, he was stuck back, tethered to a dead character who could no longer take care of him. I arrived at the spot that I had found him, his family around to welcome him back. I looked at him, and for one last time, I /pet Howard. So after what started for me asking to join a guild full of people who had no idea who I was,
Who is this Rav guy? Is it the League Rav guy? I don't know who the fuck Rav.
I experienced the craziest leveling journey not once, but twice. I was welcomed by the most incredible community I've seen online, and I got emotional over a pig in a video game. And that is the story of Rav the Avatar. But what I didn't realize was that me letting Howard go was what I needed to release his ghost, and I immediately knew what this meant.